1, 2. Okay, that's working. Good. Hey there, hi there. Um, it's me. September 9 to 12. Took a little longer. I mean, hopefully some ads ran or stuff. Something I'm not really being very good about keeping track of how everything is set up because I just want to be doing the streams. But I was running around looking for my phone because I had my dough recipe up on it. And, it's set up here waiting to chat with y'all. Duh. But I did remember to turn off the humidifier this time. Okay. Let's find. Let's put the recipe up on. No, I don't want Gmail notes. Notes is decided it's smarter than me and it's really not helping. I just want my search to come up. There we go. Pierogi. So Today I'm going to make some pierogi. I've done it a couple times. Not a lot. Oh, let me change the settings so this doesn't close. It took me a long time. I really wanted a dough recipe that had been, handed down. And my sister finally, she had been making pierogies with her boyfriend's family for years and years. They're Polish family. And I did finally get their recipe, but then my friend Trib, okay, gave me a different recipe that was his grandmother's. And I prefer it. I just liked it better. The dough had a little more flavor on its own. It has sour cream and lemon juice in the recipe. I'm going to be messing with it. Sorry, Jay. I'm going to use some Greek yogurt because I have that in the house. I don't have any sour cream in the house right now. I'm going to have the recipe because I don't need a lot. It was like 9 cups of flour recipe. I'm going to do 2 different fillings. And I'm going to do a few other things that are kind of corner cutting. So, budget friendly. I'm going to use, I've got instant mashed potatoes left over from when we were visiting the food bank last year. There are 2 things I want to try with that. And the other one I'll do soon. I want to try coating fish with it. I've read where that's something you can do with them. I don't like to just eat instant mashed potatoes. They always seem to have a weird flavor to me. Although I haven't prepared them myself, so maybe I could fix that. I don't know. I just know that if I've gotten a pre-prepared meal with them in it, it always has a little bit of an odd taste. So I'll be doing, I got to get this dough going because it's got to rest for an hour before I roll it out. I do have a pierogi press, so I'll be making those. I'm going to do sort of a traditional filling that's going to be some sauteed onions and cheddar with mashed potato so that my husband has something to eat. I pulled out some of my homemade Polish sausage from the freezer. So great dinner for him. I made dal, red lentil dal yesterday. That's probably what me and my middle son will have for dinner. And I don't know what the youngest is having. Oh, we had nachos yesterday and we have leftover grilled chicken. He's going to make quesadillas for himself. So, but I'm going to make pierogies that Rob will eat. But I'm also going to make some weird pierogies that I have done before, but I have not done it with instant mashed potatoes. But it's such a smaller part of it. It's kind of just to hold things together. I'm not that worried about it. I got corned beef in a can, which, always isn't great, but it's super cheap. It's going to serve this purpose of chopping up and putting in a filling. I'm making Reuben pierogies. I'm going to put grated Swiss cheese, some corned beef, and sauerkraut that I'll drain and squeeze in there. And for those, I'll be air frying those. Pan frying pierogies, sauteing them with butter and onion is fantastic. With garlic, whatever. Some people just boil them, use them as a side, throw some butter on them. Some years ago, I threw some in the air fryer and discovered it was wonderful. They kind of puff up and crisp, and then you can dip them. And for something like this, that's amazing because I did do this one other time, but I didn't use canned corned beef that time. But whatever. Is you can make it like a Reuben on the inside and then dip it in your Thousand Island dressing. So it's probably going to be, I don't know, maybe I'll have them for dinner and we'll save the dal for tomorrow. But hopefully this works with the Greek yogurt instead of the sour cream. I can't see why it wouldn't really, because it's not about the fat. It's about the tenderizing the dough in this instance. So let's get to it. Let's see. I'm going to use the KitchenAid. Jason's Graham's recipe says to beat the eggs and then put in the sour cream and lemon juice. You beat the eggs until light. Look at my eggs, by the way. Aren't they beautiful? You know, they're a little slightly different sizes and shapes and colors, but that's because I get them from my friend. I'm going to move this beater to the other side. That didn't work. I'll close it off. Who raises chickens. So 3 eggs, normally it would be 6. Again, I can post this recipe. Well, I'll actually have to ask Jason if I'm allowed to post this recipe publicly. I think it's okay, but I want to be extra careful and make sure I don't do anything that upsets him right now. He just lost his father. Okay. Heat those until light. I'll measure my yogurt while that's happening. Oh, I gotta remember to half things. Okay, so normally I would have 2 cups of sour cream. I'm gonna do 1 cup of yogurt. I had some of this Greek yogurt this morning. I've been using it, like, trying to use it up because I just needed a tiny bit, and Rob got me a whole 32-ounce, 2-pound container. But really good way to have on hand and make a better choice in the morning, right? Like, I do have tater tots in the freezer, and I could throw them in the waffle maker. I love tot waffles. But instead, I had some Greek yogurt with fresh blackberries and a little honey drizzled on it. It was freaking delightful. Okay, those aren't light yet. I'm going to turn them up a little bit while I put the yogurt away so they lighten up. These might not lighten as much as eggs that are from the store. Okay, let's put my... I'm going to need a tablespoon of lemon juice, so a half a tablespoon of lemon juice. It's probably going to be about half a lemon, but this lemon's a little dry. I'm just going to squeeze it all. I can use it for something else if I need to. How's the eggs looking, folks? I know most people are at work right now. I seem to have more folks show up live when I'm doing this around dinner time. I'd be curious what you're doing if you're... Okay. Hey, I don't know who Jenkins is, but thank you for sharing that I'm live. I didn't even do all my own promotion to other channels like I could. And somebody just posted for me. I mean, I know my bot would have, but maybe, and that wasn't Leon. It'll go in his channel. Well, cool. Okay. Sour cream and lemon juice and Ben will. Oops. Then we start putting in the flour. If this yogurt doesn't work, we're gonna have a problem. But you know what? If Rob has if I've made him want pierogies and that's what he wants, I can go get frozen ones. Not the end of the world. how much? It was a tablespoon, so a half tablespoon, so a teaspoon and a half. But I'm not screwing with all that. I'm just gonna eyeball about a half tablespoon. There. Now, I assume all that acidity is more than about fat or puffing with pierogi, as it is about being a nice tender dough. Even though we rest it so the gluten develops, and we do want it to hold together, because we do have to roll it out and make little pouches. Slowly add 5 cups of flour with mixer. Slowly add remaining, which would be 2.5, some, because I halved it. And then do the rest by hand. Only as much flour, add as much flour as possible without creating an overly dry dough. Well, yeah. And then we got to cover it, and I'm going to turn it down a little. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. You see that? Go off. Oh, look how pretty that is. All right. So let's go slow. I saw a product the other day that's like a little funnel that you put into this, and it rests on the bowl for not making a mess when you put flour in your KitchenAid. I was like, I don't know if I want to spend money on it, but it does seem like a good idea. So I do end up getting it all over here. But I mean, if I've got it on the KitchenAid, it will remind me to wipe the whole KitchenAid down, which you should, do every time you use it anyway. Because who knows what kind of particulates you're not seeing. This is not taking anywhere near, I think, as much flour as I have measured out. I've measured out my 4.5 cups of the 9 it called for. This is something else I'm using today. Milk in a carton, shelf-stable milk. Okay. The directions are right, and I'm going to have to pull this out to hand mix more flour into it. My kids will drink all the milk if it is there. Even though they're grown, pretty much, and I don't even always keep milk in the house. I'd like to have it, last more than a day, so that if I want to use it for a recipe, I have some. But no, they drink it. So I started getting this shelf-stable milk to put in the cupboard in case I want to make something that has milk in it. I don't drink a lot of milk because it gives me a tummy ache. But okay, so I'm gonna do this on this board, I guess. Those eggs, those yolks were particularly yellow. I don't know what Erin's eggs are eating, but or eggs aren't eating anything. What her chickens are eating right now, but let's get some flour. I know it's going to need a good amount on here. If you've seen me use my KitchenAid on stream before, you may have noticed this is a different KitchenAid. I switched back. This is an old one. I don't know when it came out. I don't know how to tell such a thing. That my mom's ex-boyfriend gave me a long time ago, and I had given it. I got a new one. I found a really good special, and that really pretty like graphite gray one, and I got a new one, and I gave my son, who bakes a lot, my youngest Fletcher, this one. I changed my mind. Although that did just start to already struggle with this dough. I felt like maybe the stories were true and the new one's motors aren't as durable. Kneading gently. And I'm going to put this in a bowl. So I switched back. I mean, why not? No harm, no foul. He gets a newer one. He'll probably be the kid to take this one when I die anyway. So then he'll have a backup or can switch back to this one. He still lives here, so. All right. I think this is, I don't want to put any more flour in this. And there looks to be like almost a whole cup left. Let me make sure I didn't miss water. Eggs, sour cream, milk. Shit. It was supposed to have like a quarter cup of milk. That's okay. I could do this. That's why it wasn't taking all the flour. Well, this is not what they expected you to do by hand. I didn't even catch that, and I need milk for like 2 other things. Hopefully there's enough in this great little booger. Do I trust myself to do this evenly? Oh boy, what a mess I am making. See? Anyone can cook. Look what a dork I am. It's going to take all that now. I am certain. Should probably grab my great baking scraper. I just poured flour all over my iPad. And got dough on the cover because it's on my hands. So, pro. I'm such a pro. So the milk is for wettening, where it doesn't even say what kind of milk. Like, all right, I need my dough scraper because I am making a really big mess. Oh, good. I have 2, and neither of them are in where they should be because my children do dishes. Oh, hell. Well, I guess I'll use this one. Sorry, Lori. This is one I've got out here because I'm going to etch it for my friend Lori. And I may do the etching on stream like I did with some wine glasses. But now hers will be gently used. Maybe I'll take her over some pierogies and explain what happened. I mean, I'll wash it probably. She won't notice, but now this seems to be a little too dry. Should have taken it easy with the flour. Can I get it to hold together? I will figure it out. I promise this is good. Yeah, this is just gently kneading. All right, it's coming together. I made this harder than it needed to be. So here is somewhere. I feel like, yeah, it's still sticking to the board, so when it rests, it'll even out and not be dry. It's supposed to not be a dry dough. And as it's mixing, as I am kneading gently as the instructions say, I think we're going to be good. Okay. Let's use one of my new gadgets, my sprayer. Just so the dough doesn't stick in there. That's supposed to be in a warm place. So let's put it out inside the oven. So the stream is going to obviously go a little over an hour this time, or well over an hour probably. Wash my hands. Because the dough needs to rest that long. What time is it? 1:37-ish. And I'm going to have somebody go check on the bacon for me. at some point. I have a slab of bacon in the smoker. It is a beautiful day here in North Carolina. It is in the 70s. And let's work on some other stuff. Okay, I'm gonna completely move this cutting board. Grab a different one. Start to work on fillings. What should I do next? Probably make the potatoes. No, that's really just going to be instant, right? They're instant potatoes. So onions, I should start cutting up onion to saute for the filling that Rob's going to have with his. I'm going to move the KitchenAid because that's no longer needed today. Wipe it off later. All right. Let's see. Probably need hot water for the mashed potatoes, right? But let's get the onions going. So I don't need milk for now. That's going to be... Oh, that's why I was thinking about doing the mashed potatoes first, because I want to get the milk put away when I'm done using it for the day. All right, let's see. Sauteing onion. Turn this on. I got a whole lot of onions yesterday because I'm planning on making another batch of masala soon. I used it all up. I did take some to my son in Raleigh. This weekend, and he had made his first bacon that he smoked, and we cut that up while I was there. I helped coach him and guide him on his new slicer that he got, and I'm gonna use olive oil for this. I put the olive oil in the green one. I'm gonna pour that. It's gonna switch. Oh, okay, you gotta pour a little slower than. You can't just turn it upside down. So we cut up his bacon. He did, I don't know, probably 6 pounds that he'll be distributing to his relatives, his wife's family and stuff. His father-in-law actually smoked it for him. Connors did the curing and stuff. I'm gonna take move this forward. My bendy arm. Take the germ out of this onion. It's a little aged than we want to use. So I might have to grab another one. This is a big fat germ. And these are going to cook down. I'm going to cook them down a lot. If I were sauteing onion, I would just stop at this kind of thin slices to just eat with the pierogi on the outside of it. But I'm going to probably cut those into like thirds or quarters to saute them down and get them to mix in evenly with the potatoes and cheese. I'm going to use cheddar, which I'll also have to grate because the grated cheese we have in the house is Mexican blend, and I want something stronger tasting than that. And I did get some grated Swiss to shortcut my Reuben pierogies. I'm so excited about the Reuben pierogies. It was like years ago. I was on this pierogi kick when I first got the recipe from my sister's um, partner's family, and I did like, I had to do your standard, potato, onion, cheese. But then I was like, I could put anything in here, and I made up the Reuben ones. I did like buffalo chicken. I did like shredded chicken with buffalo, like Frank's Red Hot in it, and crumbled blue cheese. It was really good. Oh, and with those, oh, I forgot about that with these. I did that with these too. Sorry. I rolled some caraway seeds into the dough. Kind of give it that rye hint. Yeah, I'm going to do that with mine too, with the Reubens again this time. I'm glad I talked about it because I had forgotten I did that. And I totally have caraway seeds. Other things I will be doing soon. I know I did spice blends the other day, but I'm going to do maybe more. I can't, I went to use 5-spice the other day and I can't find it. I don't know if I finally ran out. I don't think I ran out. It was a big jar though, and it's been around forever and it needed to be replaced just because it was ancient anyway. And so I'm going to probably make some homemade 5-spice. And my husband was saying how he missed when I made curry from scratch, like curry powder from scratch. I use my base recipe. I remember changing a little bit, but I threw it, my old book fell apart and I forgot to keep my notes about how I changed it, but I can use the base recipe again. It was really good. From Mark Bittman's How to Cook Everything. Why is this? My burner's not on. Sorry. But I'm gonna make homemade curry powder. Okay, this is plugged in. It's not going on. Oh no. There we go. When you make homemade curry powder, you toast all the whole spices, and that kind of travels through the house. And it was interesting because we were also doing a lot of aromatherapy type stuff at the time. I used to sell some essential oil stuff, and in that practice, there's just like perfume blend making or whatever. There's this idea of high notes, middle notes, and low notes when you're describing scents. And making curry from scratch demonstrated that in the most interesting way. It different spices, the scent would travel a different distance in the house. So it wasn't like it made your whole house smell like curry. You'd walk over here and it would smell like cumin, and then you walk into another room and you could smell cinnamon. Yeah. So Rob mentioned he missed just having that smell in the house, me making it. And I've been doing a lot more Indian and pseudo-Indian, like curry and stuff lately. So I may as well. Someday I want to make my own curry paste, which I've never done, but I will make some curry powder. The only thing, and I was like, what do I have in the house? Obviously thinking about the spice blend stream we did recently. I was like, I probably have everything to do it. It's like, no, I don't have fenugreek. And I've been having trouble finding cumin seeds. I've just been going ahead and using the powdered. So I did go ahead and order some cumin seeds and fenugreek, and I have everything else in the house. So sometime soon I will be making a little batch of homemade curry powder. Some of these are too big. It's fine, right? It's fine. It's fine. Okay, the onions are started. So probably the next thing to do is get these potatoes, like a base of instant mashed potatoes done. You're supposed to boil all this stuff and then, all right. I thought I was going to be doing this a little bit differently. I'm going to need a pot. How big a pot? I think I'll be okay with my smaller cauldron. Pardon the noise. Good thing this has 2 burners. All right. Let's go get some butter. Boy, that pot or that burner is starting to do something weird. It's like to turn it up to like 4 before it goes on. That doesn't bode well. I don't like that much. Need a dry measuring cup again. And I took them all away, didn't I? Nope. Here's one. I'll wipe the flour out of it. We don't want gummy potatoes. We're already doing acquiescing to instant. I'm gonna turn the onions down. They're really going right now. I mean, I do want a little brown on them, but mostly it's a low and slow caramelizing situation. And I can use them for something else if we don't use them all in the filling. I do plan, like I said, to make another batch masala. All right. So, to make mashed potatoes, use 2 tablespoons butter and margarine, half a teaspoon of salt. Okay. 1/3 cup of milk, 1.5 cups of mashed potatoes. So heat the butter and salt and water in a medium-sized bowl. Okay. How much water? 1 1/3 cup. This measuring cup wants me to hold it with my left hand because I'm right-handed, and I put too much in. Slurp. Yes, it's a little cloudy because it had milk in it for measuring it before, but I'm putting milk in it anyway. Margarine, I can guesstimate. I know that's about 2 tablespoons. And salt. Where's my salt cellar? Finally remember the name. Cellar. That's what we call it for some reason. But I've never looked up. Half a teaspoon. I can also guesstimate that. That might have been a little extra, but that's okay. We want our filling to be flavorful, and I'm using not buttered salt, which a lot of people don't do. Boil that, take it off, add the milk, stir in the potatoes with a fork. Okay. No sweat. I'll measure out the milk, that way I can put it away. 1/3 of a cup. Again, right hand, left hand. Nope, wrong way around. It wants me to pour with my right hand. You know, I think you can tell I don't measure as much as I guesstimate. But I have never made instant mashed potatoes that I recall in my life. I suppose I might have. I remember I lived with some friends for a bit that used to make something called bachelor brick. They were getting by on being uh, really poor, and they would make instant mashed potatoes and then put ramen on it. But I think I refrained from actually making the mashed potatoes. I'm going to save my Sally and Jack measuring bowl for mixing filling. Did I time an hour on the dough? It's not going to have to be exact. Ooh, I do have to check the bacon. Let me get this out and then we will check the bacon. Although I wish I had a Go camera so you guys could see that. Yes, this is me abusing my knife, sorry. One and a half. This is a half cup measure, so 3 ounces. 1, 2, 3. I'm definitely not going to be out, so I'll be able to try the coating fish with it, which I feel like it's going to work great. I mean, look at the texture of this. Little flakes. It might end up being my go-to set of breadcrumbs for that kind of thing if it works as well as I think it will. All right, I'm going to stir the onions. Go get a clip for this bag. Probably find another wooden utensil that's better for this on my way back, but I need to step away from camera for a minute to check on the temperature of my bacon. I don't have a clip for this. I'm gonna have to find a jar. All my freaking bag clips.
Yeah, I don't know where any of them have gone.
Yeah, I was gonna look for a coat for you at TJ Maxx. I could get some there, but we'll see. Doors. Doesn't look. Also need to use the torch to give it. It's windy and blowing toward me. Man, my timing is maybe not as good as it can get. I've got like all things ending at the same time, which is great when you're planning a meal. Not great when one thing is out in the den, and the other thing is outside by the smoker. Back up. Are we boiling yet over there? Nope. Turn it up so it boils. Okay, these are sweating nicely. Sweaty onions. No. I'm going to turn that up to max so it boils because we need a boil. Okay. Guess I could cut up the corned beef, right? Another prep situation. Room for meat, add milk. Stir potatoes. Oh, I'm going to need a fork. And then serve, but we're not doing that. It does have a one serving directions on here as well, but that's kind of, it's definitely not necessary today. We got a rubber band. Making a face. I guess I'll have to get out a big jar to put the instant mash in. What did I say needed? Oh, fork. Get one of my more sturdy forks. Like you do. And then I'll cut up some corned beef. Oh, I also have to drain cabbage. I should probably get the fillings all ready to go before the dough is actually done. That way I can just get them out of the way and roll out dough and stuff and kind of get an assembly line situation going. So I need sauerkraut. Normally I buy bagged sauerkraut. I prefer it, but I'm having trouble finding it. And this jar, this brand Deutsche Küche, I guess, that I got at Aldi, it's pretty freaking good. I made Reubens with it the other day. Yeah, it's going to take longer than I want, but we've got time. Is it boiling yet? Looks like it's getting close. Use the spoon to drain the sauerkraut really well. You don't want wet filling. It will wreck your dough. So I'm pressing it through a sieve, even though actually squeezing it with your hand is more efficient, I have found. It's also way messier. And I don't want to squeeze out all the flavor. But yeah. That's the thing. Drain or squeeze your sauerkraut. Now I'm going to rinse out this bowl to put the stuff in. You know, the stuff. I can leave this to drain over the trash bowl because it's all just food waste. Corned beef. And I'll shred up the corned beef and put it in this bowl, so I'll have it ready to go. Rolling out on this little board is probably going to be a no-go. I'm going to probably have to move it. Oh, I hear a sound. Is it a boiling sound? This camera doesn't show me really well. Oh, it's simmering. A little more of a boil. Like one piece of onion brown. Why is my burner being weird? Must have been up on the side. I was hoping. Yeah, no, I got a piece of skin, onion skin in there. Good job. Let's see, pro level today, man. Killing it. Nothing has to be perfect, just has to be delicious. I haven't made pierogies in years, so we'll see how they turn out. Might be a bit of a disaster. That here. Let's grab our pot. Shut off that burner. This is boiling. So stir the milk and then the flakes. Eek. Milk. And flakes. And now this will poof up. Let's look at this. More interesting, right? Turn into mashed potatoes. I saw Eat It Dad's. By the way, he's officially my new favorite streamer. Food and drink streamer, I should say. I'm really digging him. Using instant mashed potatoes for a recipe that I don't think I would ever make. I mean, to each their own, but he was making stuffed shells into kind of like a big tray of like loaded mashed potatoes by putting bacon and cheese and scallions and instant mash into them and baking it. And I don't know. I felt a little weird about using instant mash for that, but apparently it works. He's made it a couple of times. But like I said, for pierogi, let's taste this. Okay, yeah. See, that's really good. It must have something to do with letting them sit in vacuum sealed plastic or whatever. You know, when you get a meal or a food service meal, I think it's sitting. That it's like almost a weird chemically taste. My son and I talked about that recently because I got some mashed potatoes and meatloaf at BJ's, and mashed potatoes just had that weird, can't quite pin it down taste from being instant that this does not have at all. So I need to stop being a snob about instant mashed potatoes. Holy cow. What a great affordable thing to be able to just have mashed potatoes, let alone use them in a recipe. I'm sold. So, yeah, and time saver. Good God, what a time saver. La, 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 la. Okay, these are starting to come along. I do want to keep a little bit of a close eye on those now. Closer, I should say. And let's get our... Do I get more stuff out of the way, or do I want to get to... cutting up this corned beef? Why not both? Wow, I gotta clean up this table. I've got... Doing stuff with flour out here really makes me have to reset the whole streaming situation. Oh, my kids are going to be thrilled with me making all these extra dishes. Okay, so let's... Does this seem like it's upside down? Like, don't I want the key on the other side? Yeah, where I can turn it without my hand being crushed by the can? The hell, dude? Yeah, I need to be able to use the can as leverage. All right. Oh, wait, now it's... If I break this can, I'm going to have a problem. Okay, no, it goes that way. Like I said, don't use this very much. I've used it a couple times in my life. And it was, recently. I was like, for a corned beef hash, how bad can it be? And for hash, not bad. And for this purpose, seems really good. And corned beef is not quite on sale yet. The stores are full of it now because St. Patrick's Day is coming, and people think, well, American Irish people do eat that, but mostly just Americans, or whatever that means. Uh, yeah, it's corned beef and cabbage time coming up in the States. But I'm keeping an eye out instead for a sale on brisket or eye of round, because oh my God, I'm using this mess right now. That's because the texture isn't as important, and it being fatty will be fine. But I like to make my own corned beef. It's one of the things I cure. That my dad used to make cure big 5-gallon buckets of. So this is really like a minced meat version, just put in a can. But I'm doing this just for flavor. He used to make many, many, many pounds of corned beef every year around St. Patrick's Day and give it away, and I think sometimes sell it to his buddies. So yeah, he spoiled his whole community for corned beef from the store. And when I did it myself for the first time, I'm not completely spoiled. I can tolerate a store-bought corned beef, but I'd rather not. It's really not as good. It does turn red, but that's from the curing, from the pink salt or insecure or prod powder or whichever name you want to call it by. It keeps changing names over the years. That turns it pink, just like it does with pea meal bacon or bacon or whatever. It's a curing agent. But the stuff you get in the store, like, I will be a little more picky about if I am going to buy store-bought. I'll look at the ingredients because you don't need to put food coloring in it. That is really doing it wrong. I don't know if you actually properly cured it at all if you're doing that to it. What the hell? It doesn't need to be that red. Okay, what else needs doing here for fillings? Yeah, I still have plenty of time to mix fillings, do filling things while the dough rests. So I will go fetch, let's see. Oh, the cheddar I'm going to have to grate. I'm not sure this is going to be enough instant mash for the amount of pierogies. I guess we'll see once we get more filling stuff made. Although that dough ball wasn't huge, it was a decent amount. I didn't quarter the recipe, and you do roll it out thin, and they're kind of small. Smells like onions in here, which is lovely. All right, so let's see. Let's split it in half. Split what in half, you say? Split this instant mashed potatoes in half. Because I'm going to need to see how much filling it can tolerate being added to it. I think I should have doubled this. Dagnabbit. It's okay. You know what? I can do some today. I can do some tomorrow or later. It's not end of the world. Okay, so that's ready for me. Cheese and onions. Ooh. Right. This is a New York sharp cheddar. I like a nice tangy cheddar when I do pierogies. Maybe you get like the store-bought ones, the frozen ones, the Mrs. T's. I mean, they're not terrible. It's better than not having pierogies at all. But it's like they don't put enough. Or the cheese is so mild you can't taste it. I think some on purpose because I have seen them that way a lot in cheese, farmers markets or whatever. They use like farmer's cheese, but I want more flavor punch and the tang of this, along with the little bit of tang you get from using the sour cream and the dough I prefer. Okay, so let's mix that up. Looks a little dry, but I have to allow for when the pierogi cooks. The potatoes are still a little warm, which is good because it will melt this cheese a bit. And the onions are going to be giving it a little bit of liquidy, and you do want it to be able to hold together before you put it in the dumplings. Yes, pierogies are dumplings. I might put some black pepper in those. Speaking of flavor, my onions are starting to caramelize nicely. I want them to get pretty soft. So they don't just stand out. You don't want them to have like a bite when you're eating a pierogi. You want them to just be soft and meld with the rest of your filling. So I'm going to cook those down a while. Okay. Now let's mix the Reuben filling. Everything I need for that right now. Smell the Swiss. Probably want to put a good, I want to say a cup. Like it looks like a cup by volume, but this is only a 6-ounce bag, so it's not. It's only about 4 ounces of cheese, maybe. And I'm going to taste that because it's perfectly safe to taste. Something's going on for nerdtacular plans. Okay. Yep, get a little Swiss cheese funk. I'm gonna put a little more. Makes me so happy. And let's get some of this. I'm gonna stir my onions. They're noisy right now. I really want to put a cover on these to get them to sweat a little more efficiently. Let's do that. Before I get this corned beef here. This a big enough lid? I need my biggest lid. Yeah. Okay. Let's get some corned beef in here. How do I want to portion this into here? I'm going to use tongs. I might end up having to make a hash with the rest of this. That's a good amount of corned beef. I don't think I'm going to need more to get this to the flavor profile I want. Now, again, the corned beef is a bit fatty, and the Swiss cheese is a little fatty. Less so because it's an aged cheese, but I want to get this pretty balanced flavor-wise. And it's already cooked, everything, so I can taste it. Maybe I should Google, did I put an egg in? No, I don't want an egg in any of these fillings. I think I might have put too much corned beef. It'll completely overwhelm the other flavors if I let it. Sauerkraut. That's going to balance that nicely. I forgot about putting it in when I started this, so yeah. Like I said, the potatoes in this one are kind of just to hold it together. They're less important ingredient than they are in the ones with just the cheese and onion. Some you can get just plain potato pierogies. I guess people do that. And you can do this with deli corned beef. Just cut into little bits if you want. All right, let's taste this. Does it taste like a Reuben? I think it wants more sauerkraut, but this is a to taste situation, folks. And more Swiss. To taste and to texture. The texture thing is maybe you want to get a recipe from somebody. These fillings, they're more particular about writing all measurements down to start with for your first time, and then you'll be able to know what it's supposed to feel like. I just broke the Ziploc on this, didn't I? Nope. Good. And I'm pretty sure I have a copy somewhere of the pierogi recipe I did get from my sister's family that does have filling recipes in it. So if I can find that, I'll put that in the recipes section of the Discord. Doesn't look like the bots are posting anything they're supposed to today. Great. Do I still have them off from competition? There we go. It tastes like a Reuben. I'm excited. I'm excited to share this with you. I know when I've told people about this idea, they're like, "Oh my god, that sounds great!" And it's potentially budget friendly. As long as you get the hand of making the dough. Especially finding that these instant mashed potatoes they're great. I need to not have been a snob about them for most of my life. There we go. It's brown a little more than I want. That's fine. It's just more flavor. They're not burnt or anything. I'm going to turn it down and put the lid back on because they are finally starting to soften as much as I want, except for this hunk right here. I'll throw away. But that little bit of steam going back into them is helping with the softening and stuff. Okay, so I've got 2 fillings ready to go. Well, not ready to go. This one. What did I do? Did I put the Swiss and the cheddar in my Reuben filling? I believe I did. It's fine. It's not bad. It's really good. I might do it on purpose next time. Yeah, I didn't actually mix the filling for Rob's yet. So, yeah, let's go grate some more Swiss. Wow. My brains, let me tell you, I'm getting old. That's what happens. I'll do more cheese. So talking cooking is its at the same time is its own skill set that I'm still developing. I am new at this. I'll put some water in my KitchenAid bowl while I'm out here. That's why I had to keep putting more and more Swiss in, and it just didn't taste Swissy. The cheddar was overshadowing it. I'm also going to have to set the Roomba about here today because I've got mess on the floor. All right. To save dishes, I am going to go ahead, I think, and just mix this filling in the spider cauldron pot thing because it's I want a good cup of cheese. I want it cheesy. I know Rob wants it cheesy. At least the flour and stuff is also all over the floor. I also thought I put this back in a bigger bag earlier. Guess I didn't. Ooh. Yeah, my family's got my cooties. All right. Lots of cheese. Trying to figure if I want to use this board to roll out my pierogi dumplings, just doing very like one at a time, small, instead of a big sheet and then cutting them out. But I'm actually thinking that might be a good idea. Okay, that's about as much cheese as this potato is going to handle, and then the onions will be a little wet and help that all distribute nicely. I think I was talking about putting a little pepper in it. Completely just distracted me, and I moved on to the next filling before I needed to. I almost want to puree these onions. Is that weird? Like, that's too weird. I don't want to completely. I maybe should have cut them smaller. They're not shrinking as much as I wanted. But it's okay. I want all the flavors to be tasted. Instead of it being to where I may as well have gotten store-bought bland pierogies. If you like store-bought, this is worth doing. It's way better, and you can get creative and put anything you want in them. I used to go to the West Side Market in Cleveland, Ohio. And there's a place there that has all the freaking pierogies, like dessert pierogies. Stuff with prunes and stuff. They're delicious. Just, I don't even know. I should have looked up the website, but the huge variety is amazing. They were talking about dumplings because, Chinese New Year was just here. And Chef John Ling's channel was talking about dumplings and making dumplings. And I didn't get invited to make dumplings, but that's okay. I've made Asian style dumplings once. I do have a bamboo steamer that my youngest got me, but I'm not gonna lie, they're a lot of work. Whether it's dumplings, it's ravioli, it's pierogi, it's steps. I'm gonna add the Discord here in case people want to show up or watch later and are not part of the Discord. There. Worth it to join my Discord, I will say. I give away stuff sometimes. That's another thing I need to do, probably do after this stream, is go through my bins and boxes of cookbooks that got donated to me by a friend for the stream. Cyrenex won the giveaway I did the other day. I got some new followers and subscribers in. I think I'm at 210 or something now. And for me, that's exciting. I know that's not a lot, whatever. I'll get there or I won't. My physical health doesn't allow me to, schedule ahead. And like, I feel like if I schedule ahead and then don't make it, that's not helping anybody and stressing me out too much. Because some days I wake up and I have trouble, functioning, walking. My hand doesn't work, or a hip, or a foot. And so unfortunately, I'm sitting down. Although anybody would trying to stream on this dining room table, it's at the wrong height. It's not a counter height for being able to cut and stuff like it would be if I could do this in my kitchen. All right. We're getting close to where I need to check the bacon and the dough is going to be ready. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to, this here, it's better to look at, I guess. Oh, you can't see it. Never mind. I'm going to get my caraway seeds out before I forget. I'm going to throw some wood around. I'll be back in maybe 5 while I I check the temperature on my bacon. Someday I'll get my shit together or have mods around that can, that's fennel, that's anise. Hey, damn it. Just my caraway. Nutmeg. Cloves. Yeah, I'm looking here like, okay, well, oh, there's that Vietnamese lemon curry. I thought I threw it away. Mustard, celery, marjoram. These are not the seeds you're looking for. Caraway seed. Aha. Yeah. All right, check the bacon temp. I'll be right back. This is one of those reasons I should have music going in the background, I guess. Oh, 3. This one takes like twice the time it's supposed to for some reason. Of course, and with bacon, it gets a stall. Yes, I'm talking to you, stream. I'm on my way back. Like if you get a pork, butt and you're smoking it and it stalls out once it's already got a real good smoke on it, you can just wrap it in foil and the temp will climb higher. It needs to be faster. because you've got your smoke, which was the purpose of that. Or you can bring it and stick it in the oven, or you can, any number of things. But bacon's only supposed to take 2.5, 3 hours, and I find it takes me about 4 usually, sometimes longer. Okay, I feel decent about these onions. Let me taste. No, I don't. I want them softer. Here's what's going to happen. Turn it up a little. Why is it? There we go. Okay. I'm going to put some water in it, straight up, and cook that off. And that will tenderize them further. It may because, I don't know, you saw that first onion was a bit old. Yeah. They're not as tender as I want them to be. Also need a pinch of salt. Will not put the lid back on. I don't know if it's boiled, but I'm just kind of doing a little zhuzh. See the onion flavor of the onions. Yeah, I could use a little wine or something, but let's not go that far. Yeah, that's going to bring up the flavor and bring the softness in. Little salt, little water. All right. It kind of sucked that up, so I'm going to put the lid back on. Let's grab our dough. I'm excited. And again, thanks, Trib, and my condolences. I look forward to hearing from you soon. See how you're holding up. With planning. I lost my dad this past summer, so I absolutely empathize with your plight. Unfortunately, family can also often be the opposite of the supportive, kind, generous people they should be when death happens. I don't know why humans can't just be better, but I'm here for you. And I really, really appreciate you sharing your grandma's pierogi recipe with me. Hopefully I'm doing it some kind of justice. Okay. Now, let me first show you my pierogi press. You don't need to look at the onions. They're just doing their thing. Stir. Oh yeah, they're breaking down much better now. Cool. You can tell, actually I will show you that for a minute. See how they're getting sticky? That sweetness is coming out, and it actually is sugar, making them a little more sticky. That's what I want. For the liquid that's going to be left in them to spread through the filling and give a really good sweet flavor. Put that back on. Turn it down to low. All right. Pierogi press. What are we looking at there? Looking at you don't need to look at the dumplings. Or the filling. For the Japto corned beef. Excuse me. This pierogi press. I had a plastic one. I got a metal one. I like it better. It does the crimping for you. And if you use this side to cut your dough once it's rolled out, it's going to be the right size for putting in for stuffing. So let's start with a round piece. Probably going to only demonstrate a couple of these before quitting the stream because I don't like them to be too long. I'm going to put my caraway on it. This is my invention. I've never had any pierogi from anywhere that put caraway seeds or in their dough. I can't think of anywhere that did any kind of anything in the dough like this, but it certainly turned out good. The other one I did this with was I'm from Western New York, so beef on weck is a regional food that I love, and it's generally rare roast beef sandwich, hot, that has been, it's on a roll called a Kimmelweck, something I believe the German American communities around there invented, from all I could figure. It's a Kaiser roll, but it has coarse salt and caraway seeds on the top of it. And you make this hot roast beef sandwich on it, and you usually serve it with horseradish, and it is the bomb. And I miss it. I can get sort of a facsimile at a place called Taste of Buffalo in North Carolina and Cornelius, but it's not the same. It's not. Their roast beef isn't rare, although I've been looking at people posting from back home, and there's very few places that still do it. So they've got that rare roast beef. Awesome places will be like slicing it there in house, and it's awesome. Okay, so got this rolled out. It's thin. It's let's say like an eighth, between an eighth and a quarter of an inch, maybe 2/8. And I will cut this with the side. Can I fit two? Did I do two worth? No, that's okay. Planned on doing one at a time anyway. I didn't cut it through sufficiently. You could, of course, do something like use a biscuit cutter and do these quicker. Or if you're doing a whole table worth, like I would normally be doing, not streaming, you can just cut a whole bunch and then pull them out. Okay. So with this here, put some filling in, only about, I want to say a tablespoon. You're not filling both sides, you're kind of filling one side of this, like a half moon. You need it to be able to close all the way around. Give it a crimp. Look. All right. It did not close here. That's okay. That's something you do by hand. You might need a little water to make that close. Ooh. It doesn't want to close. Where's my water? That's why you don't want the dough dry, so that it will crimp. But yeah, all the rest of the way around, it is closed. This is a beautiful pierogi. I'm gonna put that aside. I'm going to my onions because they're freaking going crazy. And shut them off. They're beautiful now. Okay, that little bit of water boost, it really needed that look at the gorgeous color they are now. I'll wait for the camera to stop being steamed up. Oops. Yeah. Okay, let's shut those off and mix up the other filling, and I'll make one of those dumplings. Pierogi. I'm not going to put caraway seeds in Rob's. He's not interested in that. It wouldn't be bad. All right. Let's get his filling over here and put some onions in it. God damn, smell of sauteed onions. It's freaking magic, isn't it? Yeah, I'll just loosen it up a little bit because it is that liquid, but you want it to still be able to be formed into little lumps to go into your pierogi dough. I'm gonna have to taste this. Make sure there's a balance between the onion and cheese. We don't want one or the other to disappear. I don't. Again, wouldn't be the end of the world. Okay. It's about right for texture. It's not stirred very well. Oh, yeah. All right. I definitely taste the onion. Not sorry they're that big right now anymore. And I put enough cheese in it that, like, the potato's holding it together, but once you start to eat it, the cheese creams and melts and gets stronger. I used almost all that onion. There's just a little bit left. But I'll throw that into masala. Or I could throw some butter or ghee or something into that pan and just cook up a pierogi in it, like you do with, well, some of us do with store-bought or even homemade pierogies. You can just saute them in some butter and onion, and it's a meal. Yeah, and a little more flour. Oop, get that caraway out of there. They're everywhere. Rogue caraway seeds. I need a new rolling pin. I really want one without handles. Okay, I think this is big enough and thin enough to do the first standard pierogi with cheese, potato, onion. Yeah, it's not cutting through as well, but I'm not pushing down as hard as I would often. Whoops. Because I'm on this little cutting board like a doofus. I think this is kind of a whole table project, but I'm just doing it here for you folks. Okay, filling. And if the filling sits a little bit, the flavors will also blend more, but that's gonna happen when it cooks. So then like half of it. And hopefully it doesn't squish out too much if I put the right amount to seal. And ta-da! Isn't it beautiful? It's beautiful. All right. So let me, I don't want to finish just yet. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a dip for my Reuben pierogi. Maybe I'll eat both of these. Maybe I'll saute up. Oh, no. Okay, because I got another tip. You don't straight up air fry or saute these to finish them, to eat them. You boil them first. It's a pot of boiling water, like just a minute while it kind of cooks the dough a little bit. They'll float, kind of like the same as ravioli. Dump them in, they float, they're done, pull them out. From there, you can saute them with, butter and aromatics of your choice, or you can put them in the air fryer and they do puff up and get crispy, which is really cool. I'm sorry, I completely flaked on that step that we want to boil them. Because I can't stick around. My back hurts really bad. Long enough to boil a whole pot of water and finish that part of the demonstration. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can boil water, right? You can boil water. As it floats. Take it out. and saute or air fry, whatever you want to do after that. Or you could just eat them boiled. Just boil them up and then mix them in some butter, and they're absolutely delicious. So the important from scratch part of the pierogi stuff is done for today. I hope you learned something. I am super happy with the budget shortcut of the instant mashed potatoes for filling, especially with all the other work that goes into the dough and the filling. Awesome way to cut one little corner and make this doable in a reasonable amount of time. From here, it's quick. Just make one after another. After you boil them, also you can freeze them. Put them on parchment on a tray in the freezer and freeze them separately. Throw them in a Ziploc bag, and then you've got them just like you got them from the store, all separately frozen. Use as you wish for serving. So have a good day. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to cooking with you soon.